Hi everyone, Lex Gray here. Welcome to the Lex Gray Show. In this episode, I will be going through some finds that I came across at a bookstore. These are out of this world for me. I've wanted physical copies of a few of these, and some I did not expect. So these are mostly RPGs, and all I have to say is, holy flying buffalo, Batman. There's some good stuff here. Some incomplete, but I'm hoping to find their counterparts later on. But for me, patience paid off because there's one thing in here that I've always wanted. So let's jump right in and I will show you what I found. By the way, this is not a review, not a tutorial of any of these. I'm just going to go through these. I don't know a lot about all of them, but I know some things about most of them. Let's begin. This is a first. I've never came across this, never heard of it. The Spellbinder. I think it's a micro game by Task Force. Basically hex crawl micro game war game, but it definitely screams 1980s, judging by the layout of these rules. But I really need to go through this, and it says it's from 1980, so I'll leave it at that. But that is this is Spellbinder. It was the cheapest item in this haul. It's a pamphlet, nothing really else to talk about. But if you do know anything about it, feel free to let me know. All right, that's Spellbinder. Next is a Tunnels and Trolls edition to my collection. This is another like quick intro preview pack thing, but this is for the recent deluxe Tunnels and Trolls. So I do have one from Japan. This has a introductory rules, GM adventure, and solo adventure. So here's the condensed rules that you can spin off and run along. It's got more weapons than the other one I have, the Japanese one. But it's another addition to my Tunnels and Trolls collection, which is officially growing thanks to these finds. And the joke I said earlier, "Holy Flying Buffalo, Batman," is very relevant. So that's that. Next is a solo dungeon for Tunnels and Trolls. This is Buffalo Castle, and it says Solo Dungeon 1, which leads me to think that there were more. Again, not an expert on this, but says here, Buffalo Castle is the first adventure written specifically for solitary play, designed for use with Tunnels and Trolls warrior characters. It's an excellent introduction to FRP, fantasy role-playing game playing, and solitary adventure play in particular. Buffalo Castle has an abundance of rooms, traps, monsters, and treasure. So it says here, first level warriors only. When I saw this on the shelf, I'm like, okay, Buffalo Castle, there's a castle. Keyword solo. I'm like, I wonder what RPG this is for. And then, of course, right here, Tunnels and Trolls. So if we go through it, it does have that kind of semi-pick your own adventure, choose your own adventure, but there are consequences. You roll some dice, you go through all these stops here. It's great to see. And I am pondering about doing a Let's Play of this. So this is Buffalo Castle. Next is another Tunnels and Trolls, the last one, I believe. This is the 2013 reprint of the first edition. So, not vintage, but in a sense it is. I'm not going to fold it too much because this is stapled here. Looks like it's homemade, but this is definitely, it feels vintage. So, again, another collection to my TNT. And I just love the font. So I have the PDF of the original first edition. And I also have the physical copy, original copy of the 5th edition that I've talked about and shown before on my channel. But seeing this first edition reprint is pretty cool. There you go. Again, this is a 2013 reprint. Imagine to find the actual original. That would be something else. That probably wouldn't be as cheap as this one was. All right, halfway through. Now we've reached our D&D 1 of 2. This is a solo adventure for character levels 1 through 10. I have not opened it yet. It's still in the store wrap. But this is an expert set adventure module, Maze of the Riddling Minotaur by Jeff Grubb. And this is for the original Dungeons & Dragons. I'm assuming basic or expert, BX. But yeah, that's really it. I'll open it up later or keep it in the wrap. I don't often play solo adventures for D&D, the actual official modules, but we'll see. I'm more leaning towards that Tunnels and Trolls one. All right. These last three are amazing. This one I'm about to pick is my most prized one, and I wish I had the counterpart instead, but I will take what I get. Here we go. This is the Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master Rulebook. Now, I think this is... I have to verify. We can open it up and look, but I'm trying to figure out which BX it's from. So let's look in here. We have revised by Frank Mentzer. So this is a Mentzer set from 1983, the latest for this specific copy. That looks like a Gary Gygax reference, David Arneson. So, yeah, this was amazing. It is in rough shape. Not terrible shape, but it's roughed out a little bit. Has yellowing in each page. I've not gone through it thoroughly to really give you a sense of what it's got, but I don't often collect Dungeon Master books if the game has separate options. I usually go for the Player's Guide or Player's Edition. But the fact that I have this piece of history in my possession is an absolute, just, again, this is the first one I saw on the shelf. And I concluded, after finding everything else, that, yeah, someone donated their entire collection. And the store I usually go to buys used merchandise. So people sell their RPGs, game boards, records, movies, books, etc. It's basically a big trading house. And this one was just sitting on the shelf. Cheap, too. This was not expensive. And I was surprised it was not in lockup. So when I saw this, first I was panicking. I was looking around. I grabbed a basket. I started looking for the blue. I think the blue one is the Player's Guide, if I'm not mistaken, from the BX one. Feel free to correct me for anyone who's an expert on D&D. But I was panicking, looking around for the blue one. Could not find it. But I was telling myself for a solid year plus when I got into OSR, I was going to find something of the original BX or Beckme line. And here I find the actual Dungeon Master's Rulebook. I'm just, again, flying Buffalo Batman. This is just terrific. Okay, next one is for anybody who's a fan of like sci-fi role-playing. Here it is. It is Gamma World. This is not my only copy of Gamma World. I actually have a another alternate version of this one, and I'm going to actually get it now for you guys. So I have my previously owned copy here that I've had before. Finding this one, I don't know the differences between the two. So we will open both up and just see which one came first. So this is, again, this is the one I have here, this booklet. And this is an all-in-one, it looks like. Everything is in here. Let's look at the year it was released from TSR, of course. And what we're looking at is 1986. Okay. So it says 1986. This one, my whole pile of Gamma World, I bought all this in one go. It was all in one seal. This version, 1983. So this one is older. Again, it has everything, player character sheets, which is still in here. Reference screen. Weapons. I don't remember if I went through this with you guys before. Got some maps. Got a bunch of stuff. It's one whole collection that I keep on my shelf. So that's Gamma World. Just wanted to show off and compare that I have another Gamma World and that I got something that I just don't need, but I want. So yeah, money spent on another copy of Gamma World. All right, let's put this one aside for now. And then I will show you my last find for today. Traveler. This is... Okay, another correction if you want to, for anyone who's played these games before. I think this was the first ever sci-fi RPG. I believe. I've heard that on YouTube before. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. You think I can just do a search before making this video, but I was so excited I hopped on here and I started recording immediately. But this is Traveler. 2d6, I believe, action resolve mechanic. So Traveler, again, sci-fi, pretty obvious. a lot of games to follow. This spawned a whole slew of sci-fi RPGs to follow, and yep, it has everything. This is a good-sized book, and it is in slightly rough shape. Not sure there's anything in here. Did a little page through, but yeah, pages conditions aren't too bad. Love these old layouts here. But Traveler, I've always been interested in finding this, and long and behold, I did. So again, the spine is a little worn out. This was the most expensive out of this buy. It was 20 bucks, I think. So again, all this were below 20, as low as 2 with that little spellbinder game, but altogether, obviously, I had to make the choice, and I decided to go with it. So that's it. This is the haul for today. I don't often make these videos, but I just had to show this off. It was just so flying good, so flying buffalo in my eyes. So yeah, please let me know if you guys have ever come across like just a random find, a random RPG when you were thrifting or at a game store, collective store, stuff like that. Just please feel free to share your experience. I was like, oh, you know, I found a $10,000 copy of the original D&D, OD&D or something like that, something crazy like that. So yeah, but that's really it. As always, please feel free to subscribe, like, share, and comment, and ring that bell. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.